Hey, this is Anika Churchi. Welcome to you for another video, and in this video we are discussing about the state. So most of the beginners are falling problems it is state. So in this video we are understanding what is actually the state in React is. So if you see, in normal way in JavaScript we manipulate the objects, but in reacting way we don't have any chance, or it's not a best practice to manipulate a DOM. So in that case React tells us only change the states, and React DOM is handled by React. So without further delay, let's jump into the code in the normal way in JavaScript. If we go to the normal way in JavaScript, we see first of all we have a JavaScript code. If we have a JavaScript code, then HTML. If we go HTML, and then we go the body. First of all, we are discussing about the normal way how we handled the DOM in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, if we form and we are taking an input box in HTML and taking input from the users. Type equal text ID equal let's say your name, no problem, your name, no problem, and suppose placeholder equal enter your name, and input we are discussing. Sorry, that's a mistake. Okay. So here we see that form we can we write a form and we take the input from the users. If we see the output, and then you have so you see the outputs. There is an input field, and it will take the user's name by this field. So now let's take a h2 field, and we can say welcome to Unix yacht. Okay, welcome to Onyx React class, and as we are manipulating the DOM, so we are giving an ID 8 Okay, so now we are so what we can do is, when as input their name, we changing it on the DOM. So on change function, we can call a function that's name is change your name, welcome function. We can call a welcome function, and so in that case if we are going to a script CRIPT, you are going to a script, and also call the function welcome and we are going to manipulating the DOM. So var x equal what can we say is document dot get element by id is what's the ID of the input field is name, and we want to take the value of what user given, actually the name of the user. Okay, and another input tag can say var y equal document dot get element by id. This is headline from where for where we want to show our output, and this y dot inner HTML equal we want to show the x. If we run this code, and then you see welcome to Onyx React class, and we show that this is showing, and there's an input box, what we declared here, input box, and the input box take the usernames, enter your name, and when you stop your or you end your name, and then on change function is change event is happen, and that calls the welcome function, and welcome function is taking two IDs, a name as well as the headline, and it shows the user's name, as here name's value is coming on X. So if I write here on that input box as CHRJ, so we see that here in the manage change is Anika. So this is the normal way how we manipulating the DOM and show the recent output or the recent results. You see that you carefully notice that here we can manipulate the DOM. In the h2 there is h2 tag, and h2 tag previously it was here welcome to Onyx React class, but now it was previously so welcome to Onyx React class, but when you enter your name, then it's changing. By it's changing in the DOM, we are manipulating the DOM, but React tells us that not manipulating a DOM. Even user or the coder or the programmer don't have to manipulate the DOM. This manipulation is handled by React. So what a coder or a programmer can do, the coder and programmer can do only change the values, not manipulating the DOM. So this values is an object at React, and this object is called the state. State means the correct situations of the program or the code or the object. So and as the coder is not what can I say, able to manipulate it at the DOM, so that's a fantastic way React says that you only change the state and rest that means React will manipulate the DOM. So let's see how we can change the state, or what React offers to change it. So this is the normal ways we have, and the reacting ways. So in reacting ways we have take class understand state. This is my class, and what can I do is extends the component class, extends React. When I extends React, it's import the React from the React dot component. Okay, so as you know, every class must have a render function. Every class must have a render function, and every render function always return any elements. Okay, so what can we do is to return and input field as usual, same as that. Okay, the same as we want to take an input from the users, like his name. Okay, if we input a user from his name, input, okay, input type equal text placeholder equal your name, and that's there's no need to set any ID actually. So we can set is value. What the value is, like this is the value, and that's a function is obviously called, let's we choose on change function. If we set the on change function, then this on change function will take something. So here just see, in normal way we are taking the value from the users, from this ID, and we using this his name by using this ID in the DOM. But in React there's no chance to using or manipulating the DOM. So we have to set our values, these default values or users inputted values, doesn't matter, from a to a variable, and that's variable we are called state. And state is nothing but an object. State is nothing but a object in React. So we have to declare a state. State is what? A state is nothing but a state is nothing but an object. So how we declare object, this is the way. Okay, so now what you can do is there's a name, we set a name, this is a name, and the name is, the default value is what can I say, is empty. The default value is empty. Okay, so the default value as the default value is name. So in here we can set the value name. Okay, it's not we cannot do that. We have to destructing the values. From here, this dot state. From this dot state, we are destructing the values into name. So we are using the name here. Okay, so that means a default value is submitted or put it into the input box. So when the user inputted his name, there's a function, there's an event is called or fired, that's on change, and this on change event called any functions or something that it can happen when the user inputted his name, any function call. So what user inputted in the input field? The user inputted in the input field is his name or something, that's Anika Chorji or Trevor or something like that. So to change, and what's the now, what's the present situation, what's the state situation? The state situation is name, what is null, or you can say anything, or this is, you can rest in null. So as it's null, and when a user change by the input field, it will change. So when it will change, it won't automatically change. If we run this, okay, if we run this, sorry, we have to import it. We have to import the understanding state in app.js. Import control V, sorry. Okay, from then we have to call it okay, then we have to call it in the app.js. So if now we are going to then we have seen some error is what's the error? The error tells us a non-empty expressions. Okay, on change is we have to put some values on change. Okay, if we don't change button, what can we discover is your name. Yeah, so that's you see that's your name, and I can put my name. But when I ends my name, when I ends writing my name, there's nothing happen, because I don't tell my code or tell React that when I'm going to ends my name, what's happened. So there's an onChange event I have to call, and this is taking some function. That means change my user generate my generate function. Suppose a change function. That's okay. Name change function I have to call. Okay, we have to call this name change, and it's on the class. We have to call it by this dot name change. Okay, so just call this name change function. I'm using the arrow function here. Why? Because there's this problem generated, and I'll discuss it later why I am using arrow function here. So when on change event is called, this name change function is called, and this name change function is having a event object. When this on change event is fired, this name change can have a event object. Okay, so here we can change the state. Now we have a state that's a null value of name, and when user inputted his name, then we call the onChange event, and this onChange event call the name change function, and this name change function will change the state, and the state will changed by a setState function. Okay, so setState, this dot setState, as the setState is a function of reacted component, so we have to call this setState by this. Okay, this dot set is a function, and this function takes an object. This function takes an what? This function takes an object. So what object we can? This is a name. We can change name. Name and name. What's the name? The name is okay. When the user put it any name, the name is passed by the e. Okay, so the name is e dot target dot value. E dot target dot value. When that means the name is set by e dot target dot value. So that's the way in React you can change the current state and by the user input. Okay, so now we are changing our name. So if we so how can we know we change? Okay, there's no problems if we put a h2 variable, h2 tag here, and we can say welcome Mr. name. Then we change. We can discover the change here. Okay, if you run the code now, so your name, if you name Anik, A-C-H-A-F-J-W. Welcome Mr. Anik Acharji. Okay, so what's your name? Suppose your name is Mr. Jackson. Sorry, your name is Jackson, and then there's input for Mr. Jackson. So how this is happening? Again. Okay, so how this is happening? Very easy. First of all, we set a state. There's a name, and this is a null value. This is a null. There is a null value, and then we take an input from the user, placeholder name, and the value is name. The value is name, and on change, when the onChange method is, you can. And the onChange method is called, then the name change function, user defined function is called, and the user defined function is having a setState function that's predefined from the React component, and this setState function is responsible for changing the state object, and it changes. This is a function, here this is a function, this is a function, and this is a function, and this is taking an object, and it takes and it changes the present state's value. And when it changes the present state's value, okay, when it changes the present state's value, previous it was name equal null, and after name is Anik. Okay, so that's how this is working actually. So hope you understood how this setState function and state function is working. So if any problems, please let me know. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.